As Parliament Funkadelic once said, we want the funk, gotta have the funk. VGK loses in a shootout 5-4 after scoring 2 goals in the last 240. They dial up the score to tie it in regulation. Then they falter in the shootout. We'll talk about it next, right here on Lockdown Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That was totally ad-lib, Mr. Golick. Hi, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You could find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Go to FanDuel.com. So VGK comes back from a couple of goals down. They force overtime. Jack Eichel and Mark Stone had misses in the OT period. The Blues scored the first 2 goals in the shootout. They win it 2-1 in the shootout. And after the game, first of all, and we'll talk more in depth about it in our third segment today, I want to address from the top Bruce Cassidy saying that VGK needs better play from the goaltending position. We need to outplay their goalie. It's pretty strong coming from Cassidy.
It is, and we're getting some shades of Boston Bruins coach Cassidy when he gets a little bit upset right now, and it's fair. Like it's a very fair statement without coming across and being overly aggressive, right? You do need more from the goalies right now. The Golden Knights, 5 players in front of the goaltending aren't playing very well right now, so this is where you need that Stanley Cup winning goaltender Adin Hill to carry the team, and Samsonov. Samsonov's been actually a little bit better as of late, at least as far as the numbers go. But point being, there's not enough in the position right now.
VGK scores twice in the last 240 with, ironically, Hill out of the net, if you think about that, as they went 6-on-5. Eichel and Dorofeev. Dorofeev now with 20 goals to lead his team. That is by far a career best. And the game, I think, when you go back and you assess this game, right, of course, the VGK comeback, but teams are scoring late in periods on the Golden Knights. We saw that Nathan Walker goal, 17 seconds to go at the end of the first period. And Cam Fowler, that one really stung with 31 seconds to go in the second period. Why are teams scoring late on the Vegas Golden Knights?
Things are going bad. That's the answer. I mean, it's not a simple thing besides it's going to hell in a handbasket right now. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it's a bad time. And we talked about this, and we talked about this last week. We talked about this, what day is today? Wednesday. We talked about this on Monday and Tuesday's show a little bit. They're in a funk. They're in a funk. They're in a slump. They're not necessarily snake bitten because they're getting some goals now lately. But it's just not going their way. And this is just a reminder of it's a 60-minute game, not a 59-minute game, it's each period is 20 minutes. These aren't hot takes, folks. Each period is 20 minutes, not 19 minutes and 26 seconds, whatever those last couple of goals came. But those late period goals, those are stingers. Those are absolute stingers. And it completely changes everything in the locker room. Now, the Golden Knights got a veteran locker room. They got championship pedigree, championship coaching. So they can get above this. But when everything is going wrong and just keeps piling on and snowballing, it's, when is the end in sight, I guess, is the biggest question, because this is not a difficult schedule. The Blues are not exactly a tough out. The Golden Knights were minus 190 last night. You and I were both relatively confident that the Golden Knights would find a way to win, and we were wrong. Little Chris was right. Little Chris had the Blues last night.
Yeah, because it's a rigged schedule, as we know, but VGK right now cannot even handle the riggedness. Brady McNabb, after the game, he was confounded. It seemed like why the teams are scoring late on VGK, late in periods, and he cannot pinpoint the issues on the penalty kill. This was a team that, again, just is not coming out with a spark. They aren't, and we've seen this before, lest I say, under Pete DeBoer, right, late in his tenure when he was here, where they don't come out with a spark. They don't have that sort of high emotion, which you like to look for. And maybe they're just gassed. Maybe Cassidy right now is wearing thin on that VGK locker room.
Probably. I mean, the last thing you want is your coach up your butt when the team isn't going well and the coach is on you about, winning your face-offs and your better positioning and stuff like that. And I've talked about multiple times that Cassidy's got to be a tough coach to play for. I really do believe that, but I also don't believe that is a bad thing either. He's not Tortorella, who's going to go nuts on you for the littlest of things. Cassidy's going to give the players room to breathe, but he's also going to be tough on them in practice, tough on them when all the doors are closed, and there's no cameras around, and as he should be, right? That's what he should do. Again, reminders, Coach Cassidy is a Stanley Cup winning coach, so he knows what the heck he's doing. I don't know about Tony, but I'm not saying anything negative on Cassidy right now.
I'm not. No. We just
I got you. I wasn't sure where you were going. That's why I said it like that.
No. He could wear down on a team. We've seen it before, and we saw it well chronicled. He needs Marchessault back in that locker room, so those two could go back and forth and scream at each other and swear.
It was going so good for the first 6 minutes too. No, I mean, listen, it's a full-on funk right now, and I guess that's going to be the new buzzword. That's one that was not my bingo card, but we're gonna run with it right now.
Since I talk about funks, everyone has to talk about funks. Have you noticed that? Shane Knighty, like when you said snake bitten last year, and it like permeated throughout the locker room. And then Shane Knighty's like, VGK's in this funk. They have to make sure they use the word of the day as told by Locked On Golden Knights. The St. Louis Blues defensive structure, to me, it reminded me of what the Islanders did until they broke down. And, of course, VGK on the attack there late with the 6-on-5 and some bogus penalties against the Blues and all that. So, but St. Louis, the defenseman, it reminded me of the Islanders because of the way you get by that first wave of defenders, and there's defenders staying at home. And so that, I think, was really messing up VGK on the offensive attack as well.
I don't know much about the Blues. Only see them a few times a year. And the last time I watched the Blues closely was my Blackhawks fandom days going back before 2008. So 17 years removed, I can't tell you much about the Blues outside of the few times we see them here in Vegas now. I don't look at the Blues necessarily as that East Coast, Eastern Conference, stack up the blue line type of defense. Now, what I'm going with this is I wonder if teams are starting to make that adjustment, if they're starting to have their defense take less chances on the back end, knowing that if they give up that transition opportunity to the Vegas Golden Knights, it usually spells disaster. And speaking of transition opportunity, the Blues had so many chances, and you just kind of felt it coming. You felt it coming. And boom, there it was. They get the first goal. And again, we'll talk more about the goalies, about the goaltending situation later, but first few goals definitely didn't like the way those went in past Aiden. And the Golden Knights, their defensive scheme, this was something I think Cassidy talked about day one when he joined the team with Kelly McCrimmon looking over his shoulder, talking about the defensive system that was going to limit the other team's transitional opportunities, slow down that fast breakout, and not allow teams to play against the Golden Knights the way the Golden Knights like to operate offensively with a good transition game. And you're seeing these just stretch passes making it across 2.5 lines. The old 2-line pass from a while back, right? I mean, so you're seeing this happen. Was it a 2-line or 3-line? God, I'm so old right now. 2-line. You couldn't pass across 2 lines, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2 lines.
Couldn't pass across 2 lines, and now
you're talking about stretch passes or shot passes.
The shot pass was referenced last night.
It was.
There's no such thing as a shot pass.
There's no such thing.
I'm with you on that one. I'm not with you on a lot of things, Tony. I'm with you on the shot pass.
Okay, so in the overtime period, point blank, Eichel with the miss, Stone had a miss, I think. Again, if you are on the winning end, as VGK was earlier this season, then those shots were going in the net. But these colossal collapses, allowing Chicago at the bottom of the barrel here to score 3 goals in the final 4 minutes or 4 minute span, right? Again, it just cannot happen with a team that is a Stanley Cup contender. And then on the shootout, I'm just throwing a lot of smoke out there, what have you. But on the shootout, what were your thoughts there? Dorofeev versus Mr. All Team Canada, numero 1 or 1A, Bennington. It was a poke check. Was that a tripping penalty in your belief?
It's a rough night for Team Canada. Goalie's number 1. I've got the replay up here, and I've had this playing for the last 5 or 6 minutes. I've probably seen it 30 times now, and I cannot find a reason as to why some type of infraction was not called on Binnington. What I don't know is if it should have been a retake or if they could have allowed a goal, depending on the circumstance. I got to brush up on that part, that side of the rule book. But Dorofeev has the move made. He has Binnington beat. Now you see Dorofeev's right skate kind of enter the crease. Players are allowed to go in the crease. You're not allowed to go in the crease and take away the goalie's opportunity to make a save. But Dorofeev doesn't do any active goaltender.
I'm following on the telestrator. I'm following right now.
Yeah, no, I'm watching this thing right now. I mean,
I know, but so was it a trip or not?
I think it's a trip, and I'm the biggest ref truther in Southern Nevada. I think this is a trip, some type of infraction, 100 times out of 100 times watching this.
Okay, a couple of things here. So Jack Eichel, did one of the strangest things last night on the Cam Fowler shot on the goal. I took a picture of the freeze frame. That's because nighttime minus was freezing up, so I just had a chance to take a photo. But Eichel, the puck is coming near him, and he just stands there. So it pretty much might have screened out Aiden Hill to some degree, rather than going and trying to block the puck.
Which goal is this?
The Cam Fowler goal. You can look that up, and you could talk about that later. But that was the one. It was so odd. And if you look at my Twitter X feed, you will see I had a photo of it. He just stops and freezes and just stands there rather than trying to get in front of the puck. And I'm sure Cassidy, when he goes back, because he wants every player, right, to go and defend and try to block the puck, he just freezes there. He doesn't go after the puck. He's not aggressive at all. It's something I haven't seen out of Eichel. And I'm sure when Cassidy breaks it down, he's going to break some chops there too. The other thing was your guy Holtz with a dumb penalty that cost VGK pretty much, almost the game there in regulation, but he needs to be sent to the AHL. And here's a guy that was on the Cam Fowler goal, I think, on that opportunity too, on the power play. Just they're doing things that aren't very smart and not characteristic of this team.
There's a positive here.
Oh, thanks for turning it around, bro.
No. I mean, if there's a positive in all of this, as bad as all this is, as bad as this last 13 minutes and 8 seconds have been.
First place.
What's that?
They're still tied for first place.
They're still tied for first place.
Wait. Here's Golic. Let me do my Golic impression. Relax.
No, I'm not gonna relax.
It's all good. No, you're not going to say that?
I'm not going to say it's all good, but I am going to say, as bad as this game was, the Golden Knights found a point.
They found a point. They scored some goals.
They were a Jack Eichel open net away from winning this game in overtime. So,
did you find the Eichel replay, by the way?
I do remember the goal. I found the visualizer. I didn't see Eichel's block attempt. I did see there was a tip.
It wasn't a block
in front
attempt. He just stopped and just stood there.
Yeah, I mean, you like to see him sell out if you need to, right? I mean, all in the same breath.
Cassidy's going to go bananas.
Do you want Eichel diving in front of pucks? I mean,
he's going to go bananas. He will go nuts when he sees that, because weren't you the one that told me from the locker room that Cassidy wants to contest every shot?
Cassidy and Sean Burke want every shot contested 100%.
Absolutely. Yes. All right.
That's
so when
fair.
you see that, he's not contesting the shot.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But what I will say in all of this, Golden Knights found a path to a point. It wasn't the designed path by any means, and they got a couple goals in normal circumstances, if you will, and then they scored 2 goals with the goalie out of the net. So you got that fire, an empty net away in overtime from your team's best player from winning the game. It happens. Again, this is the reason I'm not overly concerned is probably the better way to say that is this happens every January. This happens every January.
Dry January. Start using that, folks. Dry January. Coming up next, we will talk about Tomas Hertl. I'm not going to spit on the microphone by calling him Tomas.
What's his name? Say his name.
I know.
What's his name?
So Tomas Hertl has the hot stick. We'll talk about that when we return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's right. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is so easy to navigate, and the variety of bets has kept you in every game. It makes you at least feel some excitement at playoff time. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly, and there's no waiting around for your winnings. Whether you are betting on your favorite team or just looking for some extra excitement and action in the playoffs, then FanDuel has got you covered. And just looking at the current lines here for the conference championship, so the Eagles are currently a 6-point favorite, the total 47, as they take on the Commanders. And we've got the Chiefs minus 1.5 over the Buffalo Bills. And the total on that game is also 47. Just visit FanDuel.com, join today. Get started with the $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco, very well done there, Golick, and Chris Golick. I meant to say Dr. Funkenstein and Chris Golick. We appreciate you tuning in. Tomas Hertl, hot stick. So he's been the go-to player of late offensively. The last 6 games, 5 goals, 5 assists. 5 goals and 5 assists. And so he's become the most valuable player currently. Well, Dorofeyev scoring his 20th, yes. But of late, the go-to guy has been Tomas Hertl. Why? Because he has that net front presence first and foremost. That tip in the Chicago game, we didn't really talk about that from the high slot. And it just changed direction, right?
I love those.
Like it was a tip that you think would have went left, and instead it goes to the right side, and he just scored a really cool goal there. You might want to check that out again, Golick. You can slow that down and then illustrate it as well.
No, I saw it. I know the goal.
Net front presence, I think, and currently he's starting to play well. Yes, he did beat the other turtle. We've got Hertl, the turtle, and you also had Alec Martinez, the slower turtle, there that he beat when he played Chicago. But in any event, he's the hot player right now. For
poor Martinez. We miss him. It was nice. You saw the camera. The camera caught a couple fun moments between Martinez and some of the players and stuff. You saw him like wink at one of the players and stuff, and that was fun to see. All right, Hertl right now, 36 points, 16 goals, pacing for somewhere in the 62, 63 point range, but he's got points in 7 of his last 8. How many points? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like 11 points in his last 8 games. So we'll see how long this lasts and if he doesn't dry up. But where would the team be without Hertl, number one, right now? I mean, these last 3 weeks have been relatively rough, and Hertl is at least, still kept going this entire time. So that's definitely a good thing. Hertl, of course, in the playoffs, I think, is where his value will be most noticeable. And obviously, Golden Knights got to get to that point. We got a long time before that matters. But point being is Hertl is an extremely valuable asset. And I think one of the things I talked about early in the year was the Golden Knights might have been better off with Stevenson instead of Tomas Hertl. Oops. That one didn't age well. I mean,
right. You know what else didn't age well? I said that I thought Hertl was going to have a really down season.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had anything left in the tank there coming back from the injury. So
100%.
He's proven us both wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, and that's good. That's a good thing. It's okay to be wrong. That's a good spot to be wrong. And what I like also, looks like his power play goals, he only has 2 power play goals in this 8-game streak right now. So he's finding ways to affect the outcome.
He's a team leader, though, I think now, right? With 8.
I think he's getting to that point. Absolutely.
I think he has the most power play goals now. No?
I thought he'd be like a team leader in general. He probably does have the most power play goals without looking, or he's going to be up there right now. if he has more than 6, that's more than Olsen at least. So that's
Yeah, he's
the way
got
to
more
look
than
at it.
6. I'm sure.
It's more than 6, definitely, by looking at this. So, yeah, I mean, listen, Hertl's doing a lot of great things. You start with his face-off circle. You start with his battles. He's doing a lot better. Of course, that net front presence, and I do love those high tips.
Did you call it the net funk?
It's pretty fun. Not on
Net
purpose,
funk.
but maybe.
Yeah, it is the net funk presence.
The net funk presence. Those high tips. That's one of my favorite goals to see because it doesn't look like a great goal.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, no, and a lot of teams try and utilize that. Tampa, even Nashville was trying those attempts a lot. I've seen Arizona or Utah try that a lot, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And another Mark Stone. That was the first goal that was scored in the playoffs last year against the Dallas Stars. Actually, it was a tip from probably 25 feet out that changed directions on Ottinger. So, Hertl, a bright spot right now in a very Hertl and Dorofeev, I guess, if we're going to put them together here. Definitely a couple of bright spots and what's been a tough time. And not that the segment's about Hertl, but Noah Hannafin was on the bottom of the report card again. I looked that up earlier too.
Oh, geez.
Hannafin, Pietrangelo. So save that for a segment tomorrow. We got empty segments tomorrow. So put that on the napkin.
Yeah, no, we can talk about them. They had to break them up there because it's just not gelling. The worst experiment of the season, I believe, was putting Tomas Hertl on the wing where Carlson's centering. He's not a wing. He is a center. And this is when he started to play to his level. I don't know. Cassidy really likes all their centers, and we can move them around, and we could have 2 centers on one line. Remember, he was talking about that during the offseason. Yeah, I don't think that experiment went very well. That did not live up to.
Yeah, and that's fair. And you know what? It's okay to try things, right? And last year it made sense, right? Stevenson was fine in the middle. Carlson, Nick Waugh. I mean, you're not going to have Hertl center the 4th line when you make a deal like that. So I understand trying to find different ways to utilize him properly. And Hertl, he's done this for a while, and if he needs to play on the wing, he can certainly do it. Hertl, Olofsson, Dorofeev. That's it's a nice line right there. I like that. I still wonder about that top line though. Still wonder if the time is going to come for that top line to. I don't know if they're practicing today, but if they're practicing tomorrow, that definitely be practicing tomorrow. I'm really curious to see how the lines look in tomorrow's practice.
Should Hertl
defensive pairings too, for that matter?
Should Hertl have gone between the legs on that shot on Jordan Bennington? Here we go again. Again, they're just trying to make the fancy play and not trying to finish off a play. It's happened during this entire. Okay, so he's going from left to right. He almost got there with the goal. Would have been a remarkable shot. He tried to go over the right shoulder of Bennington as he was crossing there in front of the goal mouth. And yeah, it's something I think, again, that's fun and that's fine and dandy if you are winning or if you're putting finishing touches on a team or if you're skating away from a team and you're up from 2 or 3 by 2 or 3 goals late in the game. I think that VGK, this is where it all began, the Michigan play Eichel. I can't say that enough. And here we go again. And just trying to get too fancy. It was maybe the only way that Hertl could have gotten the shot off. I think that a lot of folks might give me some smoke for that. But in my opinion, you just don't do that the way this team is going. Sorry.
The Eichel Michigan attempt I didn't see. I still tried to find videos of it. I never saw that. So I can't say how good or bad it was.
He just got stuffed. He got stuffed.
Okay. But going to the Hertl play, I didn't see that one either. I just tried to look it up. Unfortunately, I was coaching last night. There might be a video coming out about something that happened to me on the ice yesterday that involved me falling on my butt in front of everybody. But that's another. When that comes out, I'll tweet that out later today.
Okay. But can't wait.
Oh, it's great. I'm still sore today. But no, going back to Hertl and trying a between the legs shot. This is just a general perspective right now. I haven't seen the play. I haven't seen the attempt. This is a skill league right now. And you're seeing goals like this scored not because players are trying to show off and do things, but it changes the angle. It throws the goaltender off. And there are times if you're in tight, it will give you a better angle to elevate the puck as well. You're bringing the puck back a few inches and you're doing something the goalie's not going to expect. And listen, we just spent 7 minutes talking about Hertl and having the hot stick and being, him and Dorofeev are the best VGK players right now, not just forwards, but the best VGK players right now. So if he thinks that's what he needs to do to try and score a goal, I'm fine with that. Now, if the team's down, 5-1 in a game or something like that, and they're trying that crap, I think that's a different story. But in Hertl, we trust right now. Now, if Alex Holtz is out there trying to go between the legs, if Colasar is going between the legs,
It
if
wouldn't
any of
be
these other
intentional.
players
Would not. It would just mean he got caught up with the puck. His stick was stuck between his legs.
and he might score it too then. But still, point being is, if Hertl's going to take a chance at a goal like that, I trust him. If Eichel's going to take a chance at a goal like that, I trust him. If Holt's going to take a chance like that, benches, you know what?
He could have went forehand, backhand. I just thought he tried to get too cute, but that's my opinion. Coming up next.
Play on skates. I want to see you trade better.
At least I didn't fall on my butt on the ice yesterday.
Oh, that's going to be a great video. It's going to be a great video.
You're going to share on the show tomorrow? Okay. Coming up next, more on VGK's goaltending struggles and how will Hill and Samsonov react after being dragged, I say, by Bruce Cassidy. Right here on Locked On Golden Knights. In sports, having a winning strategy is everything. It's how the best teams make it to the Super Bowl and the World Series and the Olympics and much more. And the same goes for life. Having a strategy like life insurance from SelectQuote can protect your financial legacy and keep your family's future secure. SelectQuote makes it easy to find the perfect life insurance policy. As one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, they have helped over 2 million customers, to find $700 billion in coverage since 1985. What sets SelectQuote apart is their personal touch. Unlike other brokers that offer one-size-fits-all policies, the licensed agents tailor the coverage to fit all of your unique needs. And if you're in good health, you might even qualify for same-day coverage of up to $5 million with no medical exam required. And it's more affordable than you would think. You can get up to $1 million in coverage for as little as $20 a month. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Again, that is selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Check it out. SelectQuote, they shop, you save. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick, the Funkenstein bros, reporting. Don't forget, Fridays are WTF Day. Saturdays, sometimes it's the Chris Jr. Show. I did have someone last night defending me on the Twitter. You know, I didn't make a big production out of it, but I actually framed the tweet because it was, something that was in my favor. Just, a fan saying, hey, Cardasco calls it like it is, right? And I do. And he said that this team was going to be struggling, and here we are. They're struggling. We do have some data there. We're not just making this up. It's compared to last year. And of course,
from that perspective, yes. But I don't look at it as a struggle. That's the thing. I don't think it's a struggle. This is the norm.
They finally put pucks in the net, and that is a good sign. Now, to me, up until last night, I wasn't sure who was going to be scoring goals. Was not sure. And Bruce Cassidy is really upset with the goaltenders. Again, he said we need better play from the goaltenders. They need to basically outplay their opponent. And could things be going south if these losses continue? And if they continue to have these struggles in net? And by Cassidy publicly undressing the goaltenders, taking them to task, does this mean that Cassidy, I might look at it in a different way, Chris, that he might start to panic?
What is panic in the goaltender position? I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, the goalies are going 50-50 right now. I liked your call the other day that Hill maybe should have gone 2 of the last 3.
There's no doubt. Oh, yeah, there's absolutely no doubt. That to me was just, I don't even know why they went.
Are they saving him for the Four Nations? Honest question.
No, hey, legit question. Absolutely legitimate, that question. And
workload management.
We're going to hear more about it. We'll hear more about it on Thursday. The 2 goaltenders from the Four Nations for Team Canada. Like, I'm sick of it. I've had it with Team Canada. Okay, Go ahead.
I mean,
Sorry.
Team Canada's going to have to outplay the goalie's mistakes then, because that wasn't good yesterday.
It would be bet the overs. Take the overs there.
I thought the under. I thought we were going to see a better game last night. I was VGK and under. I missed both last night, but whatever. What can you do? All right, so let's look at Adin Hill's last few games here. I'm just doing save percentages. That's it right now. Save percentages and goals allowed. 8.57 and 4, 8.93 and 3, 9.38. That's the wild game. I'm throwing that one out. I'm sorry. Like, I'm with you, Tony. Fool's gold on that one. 8.50 and 3, 9.58 and 1 against Buffalo. That was a nice game. 8.64 and 3 Montreal, 8.80 3 against San Jose. And then before that, you did have a relatively nice run. You had an 8.24 mixed in against Edmonton. That was that crap game where they got blown out. But you got a lot of 900s at that point, a lot of really high or mid 900s at that point. And let's look at Samsonov right now. This is not only about Adin Hill. This is about both goalies right now. When Samsonov falls off, he falls off hard, right? Samsonov had a streak of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 900 and higher. And now his last 2 were 8-1-8, gave up 4 goals against Nashville, 7-8-3 against the mighty Chicago Blackhawks, and gives up 5 goals. Going back, Samsonov starts the season really well, and then he gets hurt in the third game, his third appearance. It takes him a while to get going. He goes 8.85, 7.78, 8.33, a 9.50, 8.89, 7.86, then that long streak we talked about. So point being is you got a couple goalies who are relatively streaky right now. This is where you wonder if the 50-50 proposition, like it's been, each goalie's had about 50% net share for the last 2 months, maybe. It's been pretty close to that. Mm-hmm. You wonder if that's the right approach right now, and you wonder why that's the approach right now. And if they're saving Hill for the Four Nations and trying to manage his workload for after the Four Nations, that's something else that's going to upset the both of us. If they're simply trying to save Adin Hill in general, okay, fine. Adin Hill is on pace for his career high start or career high appearances in a regular season. 35 is his career high, and he's already had Adin Hill has 29 appearances this year. So we got a healthy Adin Hill. Let's be happy about that. But is the breakdown happening right now?
Yeah, is the breakdown happening not only with the goaltenders, but as you alluded to earlier, the defense again in front of him. That first goal, I think, went right between Petrangelo's legs.
It was a weird angle, absolutely, and credit the shooter for recognizing the situation. I was a little tough on Hill yesterday. I went the if he can see it, he can save it route, and maybe it was more of just a pissed off version of me watching the game for a little bit. But that said, of the first 3 goals, Hill had a look at him, and if one of those goals goes in, okay, fine. I think anyone can live with that. But when you got 3 shots where the goalie does have a clear angle of the puck, 2 or 3 of those saves need to be made, and they weren't last night. And that's what people were also on me for talking negative about Adin Hill. Don't listen to me. Go to Coach Cassidy. All right. If Coach Cassidy's dragging the goalies, I have every right to be critical of Adin Hill.
So you were critical first, and then of course I'm sure Cassidy saw your comments.
Yeah, Cassidy read my tweet between the second and third and said, "Yep, this guy Golick's got it right."
Yeah, no, but you know what? I did not think of that angle of preserving Adin Hill. And that could be very true, the way that they've played this whole thing out with the tryouts on the ice during games and all of that jazz. It's been a headache and a major distraction.
I hope to see some goalie questions from local media right now about, the rotation. And Cassidy, he's not going to tell you what the rotation is, but he will give you a taste of what's coming. And is 50-50 the right way to go? Goalies are going to tell you they want to be in the net. They want to start every game. And end of story. They want to start every single game.
I think Samsonov wanted some rest, didn't he? I think.
Well, Samsonov, okay, fine. Samsonov wants his rest, but fine, but give it to him. Run Adin Hill out there for 10 games. Let him find his game, because that seems to work.
Okay. So historically under Cassidy, though, right, Chris? We see where Bruce and, of course, they play the VGK with the goaltenders. They tend to go with the hot hand. Maybe they learned from the past that they wear down the goaltenders by doing this. Remember, they would go with the hot hand. And at times it's like, my goodness, LT needs a break. Like he's played 6-7 games in a row. Right?
Yeah, but they didn't trust Patera, so that's fine.
I know.
I get it. You're right.
But maybe they learned from those mistakes that the goaltenders, were really worn out by the time they got to the postseason. Could that be the case?
I mean, I don't know. The Golden Knights chewed through 5 goalies in the Stanley Cup season, only 3 goalies last year, and You had goalie questions last year coming into the playoffs. Aiden lost the starting job. Logan played very well in the playoffs. And then when Aiden came back, and he also played very well in the playoffs. So, I mean, this segment could go on and on and on here. But point being is, I think 50-50 is not the right answer right now. You got a $4.9 million goalie and a $2 million goalie in Samsonov, if I'm not mistaken, right now.
Yeah.
So let's get Aiden Hill out there, give him some more starts.
On Thursday.
How about 3-2 instead of 50-50? 3-2.
And that's fair. But right now, going into this stinking Four Nations thing, they need some W's. And on Thursday night, it should be Aiden Hill. Okay. He played, on a stinking Monday in the matinee. He'll play again Thursday night.
Do you want Samsonov going against Dallas? Which game do you want your better goalie in, St. Louis or Dallas?
Who is the better goalie right now? That's the big question. Who is the better goalie? I don't know.
Flip a coin. Flip a coin.
Their
last two starts for both of them.
Out of those 2 games, you better get one W. You better get a W and break this losing streak.
Hill's save percentage is a little better right now.
Okay. So
last few games.
I just wouldn't wait anymore. I wouldn't wait. And I see goaltenders coming back on if they have a day off in between starts. I've seen them play again. You can't wait right now.
What, Shesterkin plays like 60 games a year, injuries notwithstanding, of course. Hellebuck plays 65 games a year. Vasilevsky plays 58 games a year. That's right. It can happen.
Exactly. If you're the hot hand, I say they have to roll with that right now. Of course, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, especially our everydayers. We could go on and on about this goaltending situation. And tomorrow, let's talk about the defense, the best in the Pacific Ocean. The best in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, come on. I had to go there.
No, I'm okay with that one. That wasn't cringe. That was a zing. That was not. I was not cringing. Okay. I was zinging.
Hannafin might be the most inconsistent player I've seen here in Vegas. He's at the top of the report card. He's at the bottom. It's at the top.
Oh, no, he's at the bottom.
He's a C student. He's back at the bottom now, regularly,
he's
right?
On the bottom.
Yeah.
Back of the bus.
Of course. Thank you so much to all of our fans and friends tuning in around the world. Again, tomorrow we'll be back with the show. Fridays, of course, is WTF. Saturdays, sometimes the YouTube exclusive. Please subscribe there. It is the Chris times Chris Jr. Show. From my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.